This is the instructional how-to video for the Willie Howard concession trailer. I'm going to go over the functions of your brand new concession, show the operations of it, and the shutdown procedure. Exterior lights on either side of the concession window. Exterior light working, or exterior plug, I'm sorry. Both of your propane tanks are empty. However, I do have a tank here that I'm running the trailer off of. Be able to do demonstration with. Go ahead and go over your waste drain valve here itself. So once removing the cap, hook up your 3-inch waste hose. Once that hose is hooked up, then this gate valve slides out of the way. Contents from the tank itself will be able to drain out into an approved area. Once that is completed, then make sure that you turn that back off, disconnect the hose, and put the cap back on. For the fresh water, we've got your non-pressure side, which you can use your food grade water hose to fill up your freshwater tank itself. Also, if you need to clean the tank or sanitize the tank, you can do so through this port here. So this is the non-pressure side. And then you have the pressurized side where you can hook up your food grade water hose, bypassing the tank and pump. That will allow pressurized water continuous. Open up the 36-inch access door. Give you access to your freshwater tank. You can see the water level indicate through there, the transparent plastic, so to speak. You've got your valve for the freshwater tank, the drain valve, and then your winterization blowout valve. Also, you have the water heater and water pump here. You know, I'll show the water heater working inside. I like to go ahead and show the plug itself working as well. So you have your battery for the 12-volt lighting system, your fuse panel for that, and your battery charger. As long as you're plugged in, you're feeding power to the battery through this panel itself. 100 amp panel, all 20 amp independent circuits. Power cord running down through the cable hatch, which is plugged into my power source. If you are going to use the crank jacks, make sure that you scotch the tires in such a way that there can be no movement on those tires, as the momentum of the trailer weight itself, when lifted up with the scissor jacks, can make those jacks fold over and break. They will not be covered under any warranty if that is if they are broken like that. Manufacturers use these for manufacture of the scissor jacks. I mean, they go on RVs and food trailers, all kinds of trailers. So definitely want to make sure those tires are scotched off really well. I'll go ahead and show the plugs working. V-nose on the driver's side. 129 degrees. Plenty hot enough. Definitely be careful with the hot water, it can burn you. Water pump switch located here on the driver's side. On and off. Exhaust fan switch located here. We'll go ahead and show you how the equipment operates. I'll shut the gas off and explain how to light all of the equipment. First and foremost, you want to have the window behind me or behind yourself open. That way you can allow fresh air to come in through the window itself, as this extraction fan has to be able to pull air out, hot air, also grease up into the filters. If you have the power to use, you can have your AC running, but by all means you'll feel it coming down straight upon you, but it's going to pretty much right here in front of the stove is about where you'll feel it. Other than that, the hood system is pulling it out. So for this equipment, I have all the pilots lit. With all the pilots lit, all of these are in the off position. We'll take lighter like so for lighting the pilot itself. You'll be able to see that pilot going. And that's going to be for each and every one of these. There is never a need to force light any of this equipment. What I mean by that is never open these burners open until that pilot is lit. Now the oven is a little bit different. There's no lighter needed for it. There's one rack and 5 different slots. Control knob for the oven itself. You have to press and hold this pilot button here, and you'll have pilot hole here. You'll be able to see the flame in a minute. Let's see. There it is. You can see the blue flame, which is your pilot. You'll notice I'm continuing to hold this pilot button in place. As long as I can slowly release and keep that pilot flame as indicated there, at that point you can shut this. For video purposes, I like to go ahead and turn this to 350 degrees so that you can see, and I just picked a random number. That way you can see the burner actually working. Go ahead and go over here to the griddle. Same thing for this griddle. You're going to notice these pilot lights are actively lit, but this is in the off position. And you will take and minister your fire at the bottom of these flexible looking hoses. So propane's heavy, so it's naturally going to fall. So all you have to do is have your lighter located here, and you're going to be able to light those pilot lights. As you can see, right there, and right there. Now once you are sure those are lit, then you can activate the burners. Now the deep fryer is a little bit different than all of them. I'm going to show the unit working and then I'll explain how to light it, as 2 hands are needed to light the deep fryer itself. As you can see, your thermopile actively burning. This is in the on position. So how I always start off is this being in the off position. As you can see, you don't have any pilot going. So start off process is do this twice at least. Make sure this thermostat connects with this gas valve. At that point, you will take and rotate to where the L meets the red dot. It allows you to push in. And you have to push and hold here and administer your flame to the thermopile. Once that thermopile is lit, you will continue to hold this pilot button in place for 10 to 15 seconds. Once you can slowly release this pilot button and keep an active flame on your thermopile, then you can rotate to the on position, and when ready, go ahead and turn your thermostat to the desired temp. This shield is removable. If you light the equipment and remove that shield, make sure you put that shield back in place. That way it keeps that flame and heat inside. There is a drain tube that will thread into this here, open up and allow you to actively drain the contents out of the vat, as this vat will need to be drained every time before transportation. Also, there is your grease tray here for the contents off here for cleaning purposes. You'll need to also make sure you read over the manuals for proper cleaning of this surface plate, as well as all of the equipment. There's also drip tray here for spillover from the burners itself. All of the packets are in the fridge behind me. Again, you'll have your drain tube in this packet. These legs we don't use, we use different legs. But you got paperwork for your fryer, you got paperwork for your fire suppression, the griddle, the stove, you got the extra legs. You also have the paperwork for the fridge itself. Do take the time to read over, get acquainted with the equipment, operations and cleaning, especially the maintenance itself. The way you get proper, long-lasting life. We'll go ahead and turn the gas off. That way we can finish up the demonstration. So on initial startup, turning the gas on, window needs to be open, hood fan needs to be on at all times when you turn that gas on, for so many different safety concerns. First concern would also obviously be the propane itself, because propane again is heavy, so it would be like filling this floor up with water. That's how propane is going to fill up. This exhaust fan is going to help pull up if there was any one of these, if it's left on. It's an incredible amount of propane coming out. It's going to be very, very dangerous. Propane's highly explosive. Also, you got the heat points. If you light the equipment, the hood needs to be on, obviously, for the gas itself. The burn off of propane, you're going to have carbon monoxide. Plus, you got the heat sensors and everything in that red tank could come out just due to heat buildup if you do not have the hood system on. So, as always, open the window first, turn the hood fan on. At that point, you're going to turn on your control knob. It's the same setup on yours. It is mine. You will control and open this valve up there itself. At this point, the most important thing, and it doesn't matter which propane tank you are doing or using, whether it be the passenger side or the driver's side. You only need to use one at a time. But the most important thing you can do is pay attention to the regulator itself. again, whichever side it is. When you open this line, there should be nothing more than the line charge itself, which is in a simple form, and that's it. If you have gas running through this regulator or through either one of these regulators, continual, immediately shut this off. Definitely go back inside and inspect to make sure that nobody had bumped and turned on any of the control knobs accidentally. But if all of those are in the off position, there's a likelihood that the pipe is broken underneath the trailer. Road debris such as tires, blocks of wood, rocks, anything, even hitting a pothole at the right angle, if the pothole's deep enough, it can break and damage this pipe. So again, the most important thing on startup, when you turn your gas on, when you turn that shutoff valve on, you should hear that line charge. That's it. If you have continual gas flow, do not hesitate, turn that off, contact your local plumber to come out and inspect the piping. Propane is way too dangerous to take a chance on. There's no event out there that is worth trying to run through. If you got gas coming through here, you have to shut it off. Go ahead and turn that hood fan off since we have the gas off itself. I'm also going to go ahead and turn this AC unit off too. So for the fire suppression, this system is live and ready to go. You will need to have your local fire marshal and fire suppression company nearest you come out and tag and certify the system. The system is an automated system, but it does have a manual pull itself. What I mean by automated is these sensors located above are heat sensors. So that is one of the important reasons also why to have the hood fan on if the gas is on. Do not use this equipment as a warming agent. I've had clients turn their hood fans off to try to conserve the heat. That is very dangerous. Again, there is carbon monoxide that is burned off propane itself, and that could have carbon monoxide poisoning or kill you. We do not want that. Again, these sensors, nobody other than a licensed tech needs to tamper with these. These are set up for if there was a fire to get out of hand. Again, if you can control it with a fire extinguisher or any means other than the fire suppression system, by all means do it in a safe manner. That way you control, because if this fire suppression system does go off, it's going to be a costly expense as well as the downtime itself. What grease doesn't collect in the filters will go to the drip tray, run down to the drip cup, which needs to be monitored daily. Again, as you've seen, I removed the filter. All filters are removable and need to be cleaned with hot water and a mild soap or mild degreaser. Rinse thoroughly and allow adequate time for them to air dry before going back into operation. If you choose to turn the refrigeration off, you can do so through the power button there. Make sure anything that you have plugged in is unplugged and put in a safe area for transportation reasons. Anything that's on countertop as far as it goes. And again, hood fan switch off here, turning that water pump switch off there so that it's not in the on position. Going ahead and turning off all of the exterior lights. What you do not want is a big power draw. So of course gas is off, hood fan's off, as well as the AC unit itself. Make sure those tanks are always strapped in place. Any straps, pin the cage if you would like, but again, do not ever transport with gas on or even leave the trailer with the gas on overnight, even if you're parked in one location. Very, very dangerous setup. Again, propane is highly, highly explosive. As always, make sure that you remove your drain hose, put the cap back in place, so that that is ready for ride. Same thing, fresh water, make sure everything's adequately put up for that. As far as your power cord, if you're plugged in to shore power, make sure that you pull it back in and cord's always in its full entirety in here. If you choose, you can unplug the water heater. Definitely want to make sure you do that for the winterization purpose, winter time. Again, if you're going to use those crank jacks, make sure that those tires are always scotched for making sure that that trailer has no momentum to move. But if you do use those crank jacks, make sure that you bring those to the upright position for transportation. As always, make sure you have adequate air pressure in your tires. Make sure your lug nuts are always tight before every transportation move. And once a year, this cap removes and grease needs to be applied to the grease zerk fitting behind each one of these rubber caps on each wheel for proper long-lasting bearing life. Make sure that that rear gate is always pinned on both sides. Again, as always, make sure your tail lights are always functioning. Blinkers, brake lights, and running lights always. Flip up counter, simply pressing upward allows that. In the middle, pressing upward allows it to stay to an upright position. Pressing upward again allows it to go to a back fixed position. And then making sure that this door is shut and latched. Even your spare tire, make sure that lug nut is good and tight so that there's no momentum for it to come off in transportation. We thank you for taking the time to view this video. Make these videos to help customers be able to see their trailer before they have it delivered or before they come in and pick it up. That way, if there's any questions or concerns, you can reach out to us. That way we can answer any questions or concerns there is. If you have any new employees coming aboard, please have them watch the video. Everything is, we want it to be a safe venture for the client or their workers itself. Propane being one of the most dangerous pieces, as well as the electricity itself. We thank you for taking this time to view this video. And again, if you do have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help. We thank you so much for your business and wish you the very best.